Welcome back to another episode of Exiled Strangers. Remember, if you want to sign up to give your testimony, shoot us an email at exiledstrangers@proton.me. That's exiledstrangers@proton.me. Today, we're going to be talking about heaven or the kingdom and some of the misconceptions we've been told about heaven and what the actual truth is about the kingdom. That being said, how's it going, nobody? You doing all right over there?
I am doing good. I had to just readjust, and my camera was freaking out a little bit. So, all right, we did it,
All
everybody.
right.
Yeah, we did it.
There you
We're
go.
good. We're good to go. But yeah, no, like here it is. Right, this is our great hope, right? The kingdom of heaven, and this is one of the most overlooked aspects of the faith in so many congregations. Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about this.
Like looking back made me realize, like looking back and the times I've been to church and stuff like that makes me realize like how untalked about it is. This is the goal of every, like, you can't see it on audio, but I'm doing quotes. You can barely see it on video. Quotes. Like this is the goal of the Christian, right? Is to make it into heaven or to go to heaven. But it's rarely talked about in any kind of detail and any kind of depth. It's just like, yeah, you die and then you go to heaven. And it's like, okay, well, what does it look like? What are we doing there? What it yeah, it just
Yeah,
doesn't there hasn't been much discussion about it.
yeah, and the whole concept that Earth was made for man. Like when you if you take part in the first resurrection and you get a glorified body, you're still a man or woman, mankind, but
Hmm.
your Earth was still created for you. The kingdom of heaven comes to Earth, and this is like something that is just, I don't know. It's like it doesn't exist in the conversations in the mainstream church. Everybody's, you have a family member that passes away and they're like, "Oh, they're looking down on you from heaven. They're up in heaven now with the angels, as they would say, with God and all that." And it's like, well, if that's the case, then who's resurrected from the dead during, the first resurrection event if everybody's just already there, or
And just based off what you just said, how great could heaven be if they're paying attention to what we got going on?
yeah, like I was always under the assumption that you're just a wispy ghost fart in a cloud, uh, based
Yeah.
on what heaven was described to me about it. And honestly, back in the day, I'm like, it doesn't sound like, I get that there'd be peace and everything, but if I'm just like existing and that's it, like that doesn't sound appealing to me, like
No.
if I'm going, I want to be able to actively participate and interact with the Father, with the Son, with all these wonderful promises. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah, which makes it even more like crazy is like you are in the presence of Yah and his son, but you're still paying attention to what we got going on here on earth. And then
yeah,
also like what's kind of the what would be the whole point of earth's creation if we're just going to abandon it in the end anyway?
right. That makes no sense at all, right? Like
Right.
these are all questions that literally I've had growing up in the church. I was like, I just don't get it. Like
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like nowhere does it say you die and go to heaven, you
Nope.
know? Like I can't find that.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
in fact, everywhere you see, including, um, in the quote unquote New Testament or the testimonies of the apostles, you see like the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, which is such a an eye-opening parable where he's literally telling you what happens after you die. Like you either go to the righteous side of Sheol, Abraham's bosom as it's known, or the unrighteous side, and you await the resurrection and or judgment. Um,
Yeah,
everybody
and
go,
if I was Lazarus and I was in heaven and then you brought me back to earth, I'd be pissed. I
yeah.
wouldn't be
I'd be
happy
like,
about it.
hold up, what? What? This is a punishment. Um, you know,
Yeah.
and the thing is like, the whole idea of Sheol has been brushed to the side, and it's been demonized. It's all considered hell now. Anything under the earth is
Hmm.
hell. Everything in the clouds is heaven. And even then, you talk to most people in the church, and they believe that we're a globe that's spinning out of control through a vast universe, just aimlessly, like in circles, and it's just it's just not the case. Like,
I just pictured a collective scream that you could hear from
yeah,
space.
just everybody's holding on, ah. But then,
Oh man.
then here's the next question: where's heaven? If all these are infinite galaxies and inhabited planets and other life, it's like, okay, you're pretty much like dismantling our Father's creation. You know,
Right.
um, when you learn that there's like you're on a fixed plane of the earth and there's like seven firmaments above you, and our Father is the Most High, and you read Revelation 4 that in front of him's like, like this basically crystalline, glass floor. Um, he's literally watching us from his throne. Like he
Yeah.
is right above us, keeping tabs on his children. Um,
Which
yeah.
is wild to think about. And also,
So,
Most High makes more sense.
yeah, right.
Hmm.
He's on the high. He is dumbed it down for us people. He might as, you know what? He's probably like, man, maybe I should have written it for them in crayon because they just like they don't get it. Like, I, my bad. But I'm just saying, it adds this whole other aspect and closeness that our Father's actually looking at us and he's actually concerned for us. He's taking care over us, but at the same time, he sees everything we do, like there's nothing hidden from him. It's just, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, if you don't believe there's multiple firmaments, what was Paul talking about when he's like, I knew a dude who went up to the third heavens, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, what does that even mean if you don't believe in the creation model and the way it's, supposed to be? But
And then also, if you have if we're on a fixed plane, whatever kind of shape Earth you want to talk about, if it's not what mainstream science is pushing, then you cannot deny a creator. Like, even, I mean, you can't really deny a creator even using their science. But if you make something, if you talk about it in terms that people cannot comprehend, like it's infinitely big, it's constantly expanding, then
right.
you can kind of weasel into the agnostic, atheistic point of view. Whereas if it's like, for lack of better terms, flat Earth or biblical cosmology, you cannot deny a creator. We're on a fixed plane. Like,
Yeah.
this did not happen on accident.
Bro, and like these things like testify to it, right? Like you have like Operation Dominic and Fishbowl, where literally we're launching nukes at the firmament. Like, this is
Didn't
government
make a
documents.
dent.
Yeah. This is like, you can't make this up. It's like they're sitting down there like, well, let's fire everything we got at it. Let's try to get through, you know? And then you have like in Russia, they did that giant borehole where they got down to
Yeah,
a certain level and they could not penetrate it any further. And then you see
yeah,
in scripture that he says like, hey, if you could search out the heavens above or the earth beneath, like basically saying you can't do it. Like
yeah.
there's a limit, you know.
And then
Um
also, like, the microphone they sent down in that borehole, and they start hearing screams. I don't imagine that's Abraham's bosom that they dug it down into.
no, no, not at all, man. That's like, yeah, but here's the thing: that could be like the unrighteous side of Sheol, or that could be Tartarus, the prison of the angels.
Ooh,
Um,
that's freaky.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But
I always assumed that Tartarus was under the Sahara just because
Okay.
of how desolate the Sahara is, how hot it is. Nothing really grows there, at least in the sand dunes part.
Yeah.
But I always just assumed Tartarus was under the Sahara Desert.
Dude, it could be, man. It totally could
Yeah.
be. And then you got to factor in Leviathan and Behemoth. Like Leviathan is under like hey everybody, where do you think we get earthquakes from? It's not tectonic plates on a globe. That's a big old fish.
Yeah.
I know that's going to sound crazy, but that's a big old fish. There's even
Never
scripture that
thought of it
talks
that way.
there's scripture that talks about it like shaking the creation. Um
Ah.
and then Behemoth is out wandering in the like the uninhabited parts of the earth. It's just there's just so much meat to creation, which this will tie into the kingdom coming, right? Like if New
Are there any
Jerusalem,
descriptions on what Behemoth looks like?
I think it looks like just like a big old ox. Like
That's wild.
yeah, it's like something like that, like just this huge ox, and like Leviathan has great details in like the Book of Job, talking about the scales being like these impenetrable armor plates. Um,
Man.
cool part is like not for is it second Baruch talks about Leviathan basically being food for the survivors in the nations after the day of Yah. So it's like fish
Wow.
taco. You made it. Fish tacos all around. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Man.
bro. Like, I want to try some Leviathan.
I don't
Um,
know. For some reason, I don't imagine him tasting very good.
dude, I don't know, man.
So, is Leviathan biblically clean?
Yeah, fins and scales.
There we go. Even if those scales are like iron,
Bro, fins and scales, man. Fins and
something
scales.
you got to kill from the inside.
Yeah, this definitely gonna be butchered up by some like glorified bodies that are strong enough. You know what I mean? Like the regular mortals gonna be like, get this freaking dinosaur fish out of here, and we're like, you know, doing like the hibachi grill thing. Uh,
Man. All right.
like,
So,
yeah.
what does the real kingdom look like? And
All
where do
right.
we derive our description for the real kingdom?
So this is another point of contention is like, when does the kingdom come? You know, so many pastors out there like it comes at the end of the millennial reign because it's at the end of the book of Revelation. And it's like, well,
Okay.
it's like, hold on a second, like, nope, because Revelation is not in chronological order in that fashion. It is in
Right.
sections and then it shifts. But um, just logically, let's think about this for a minute. The King of Kings, the Master of Masters, the Son of our Most High, Yahweh, right? So his son, Yahusha, is not going to come and rule out of some buildings in an earthly Jerusalem that, like, have, you know, leaking plumbing, need their carpets cleaned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
If
going to,
this is the kingdom right now, it sucks.
yeah, he's going to reign out of New Jerusalem. He's ministering in the heavenly tabernacle now, right? That has an altar,
Mhm.
has all these things. He's not going to leave that and, come to this other thing. That's just logically speaking. There's other scripture that points to this most definitely, that we'll get into, but that's first and foremost. So the kingdom itself, it's roughly like 1,400 miles square and 1,400 miles tall. Like, I
That's
think
wild.
the quote unquote International Space Station, and big quote unquote on that, I think it's like 250 some miles above Earth, is what they say.
Yeah.
So the
That's
kingdom is
insane.
1,400 miles tall. You ain't missing it, you know?
So, well, like, what is there? Skyscrapers? What is the tallest building in this kingdom?
Well, so
Where-
so that's the thing. Like, I think, my opinion. It's also known as Mount Zion. I do think there's a very high mountain in the midst of this.
Mm,
Um, exactly what this all looks like, I really am not sure. We have descriptions in some areas, like there's 12 gates named after the 12 tribes. And here's a you know, big morsel to chew on. Everybody who calls themselves a Gentile believer, there is no Gentile gate into the kingdom. You must be grafted
mm,
into one of the tribes. Um, or if you're a natural branch or grafted in, either way, you have to be part of one of the tribes. But it's like gold, like these gold streets. And a brother of ours brought up that this gold is so pure that it's like translucent, which is
yeah,
beautiful. That's so cool.
that's wild.
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah, and like precious jewels and stones. And I mean, this kingdom we see here in Rev 21, certain descriptions of it, which we'll read. Um, but it's beautiful. You can't miss it. You guys, anybody who's been on a road trip, think about driving 1,400 miles, and that's like, okay, you made it across one wall. You know what I mean? Like that's
Like,
huge.
think think of it like Mount Everest is what, like 5 or 6 miles tall.
Bro, yeah, like it's
That's wild.
it's we're talking 1,400 miles tall. Like, so, and if you're on a globe, right, and you have this four square city, right? It's not a four square city with like a weird concave shape to it that'll fit on a globe. But if you were to set down this four square city on a globe model, each corner would be like, I think, roughly 15 miles off the face of the earth. That's how I would like sit.
Wow.
So we're definitely not on a globe, but
No.
but that being said, when it sits down, that's why every eye is going to see the kingdom coming, like from wherever you're at on earth. And forevermore, like that kingdom will be there, and every eye on the earth, after the kingdom has set down on the earth, you're going to see it. It'll be that beacon to which you go to for instruction and care and food. And like, you got to go to it every year for the Feast of Sukkot, according to Zechariah 14. Um, and I would imagine Pesach and Shavuot as well, because all the men of Yisrael have to present themselves each year. So I think that will be part. But anyways, it only talks about Sukkot and Zechariah. But but yeah, so
That's
it's
wild.
it's
That's
gonna be
hard to
awesome,
imagine.
dude. Everybody's gonna have a full brownout when they see the firmament roll back like a scroll. You know, like,
Yeah.
and this giant kingdom. Everybody, we know that they've been setting us up for a fake alien invasion. Um,
Yeah.
this is it. Like I believe they're pre-programming everybody to immediately have this negative reaction to the kingdom coming, because nobody knows the real descriptions of it. I say nobody, but most don't know the descriptions of it. Most don't understand that this very tangible kingdom is coming to earth, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And then if you look at, like, everybody wants to chalk everything up to that was it Project Bluebeam? Like,
Yeah,
that's their next plan or something like that, is the fake alien invasion. Um and like that's immediately what they're gonna think once they start seeing the kingdom dropping out of the sky.
bro. Like I like to think that I've studied enough to have an understanding roughly to where when I see it coming, I'll understand that that's the kingdom. But even I am going to be so terrified to see that thing coming down, even knowing that it's coming down. Like, talk about going weak in the knees. You know what I mean? I'm just going to
Yeah.
bow right to my face right in the beginning. All right. Here I am. Hopefully, I
Oh
don't have
man.
the brown out moment, though. That would be embarrassing. Meeting
It
your
depends if
king,
you ate some Thai food.
bro.
Every episode. Every
Hey, all
episode.
right. So we're about to get started here, and I was like, "Wait up, hold on, just a minute, man." I was like, "I'm so sorry. I gotta make a bathroom break." Yeah, I just ate some Thai food, and the tables had turned.
Hey, dude, I completely get it. I'm transitioning into carnivore, and this has been the hardest transition I've ever had as far as like digestion wise goes. Dude, this one has been killing me. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but my stomach is like, nope, nope. We're used to ice cream. Uh, bring me back the ice cream. It's like throwing a fit or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, I completely understand.
Well, and thank you for the grace you showed when when my tummy hurt. I appreciate
No, dude, I get it. I
it.
get it. It ain't even a choice. It's
Yeah.
just mandatory.
Yeah, you should have seen me speed walking. Speed walking there.
Doing the booty clench shuffle.
Yeah, yeah. I look like I was all hips getting there.
Got the arms working.
All right, so here's a question, right? A question that I was just, believe it or not, I don't know how this happens. Maybe I'm broken or something, but in my life, I tend to talk about poop comes up a lot in conversations. I don't know why. Whether it be about animals or like, hey, my tummy hurts or going to Bucky's. I was
Hmm.
just talking to a sister, right? Uh, Earlier today, and the question arose yet again, like, do you poop in the kingdom, like in a glorified body? Like, we know you can eat
That's a good
food.
point.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Why
You
should
know,
be perfect poops every time?
bro. Like, have you ever seen the commercial for the squatty potty?
Yeah, my wife has one.
Bro,
Like
one of
the
the
stool.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely one of the hands down one of the best inventions they've ever been made. Um,
What? I find it harder to
Bro,
poop
then
with the
you
squatty
need
potty.
you need to train your guts. 'Cause that's like the natural that's the natural alignment, man. It's like
I don't think so. Not for everybody. I don't know.
okay. All right, but what I
I
was
don't
getting
know.
at is in that commercial, like they poop like like sherbet ice cream into these cones. But
Oh man. Now,
all right,
real quick, when I was
yeah.
in China, I was flying back from Australia. This layover was in China. I had to, poop at the airport. I had like a 14-hour layover. Um, and then I go in the bathrooms and all I see is this hole in the ground. I'm like, oh crap. And then like, you know, pulled my pants down all the way and then realized like, oh well, that's not a good idea. So heads up, if you have to poop in a hole, don't pull your pants down all the way. The pants stop at the knees, otherwise you poop into your pants.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, you don't want to do
and
that.
then as I'm leaving the bathroom, I see regular toilets as I'm leaving. Like, oh, I didn't have to just struggle right there. I could have just sat down on the toilet.
Yeah, but I bet it was a
It's my
growing
little
experience.
it was a frustrating experience. It was like, oh, cool, finally getting over this travel constipation, but I gotta aim towards this small, and the hole was small.
Yeah. Yeah, they had those in Korea
It was
too.
like, make the hole bigger.
Oh, they had those in
Like,
Afghanistan too. Like some of the outhouses, like it was literally
yeah.
just a hole. It was just a hole that they had dug and like put a box over. Um,
Can you imagine like slipping and falling into that?
no, I don't want to think about that, dude. That's
Just, just put me down after that, man. Just kill me.
okay. All right, all right. Before I know we got I know we got to get back on topic. I'm sorry everybody. I'm sorry. But like so when I was in the army, like going into some of the ranges, they would just have these like vast deep holes with just like structure you sit on, right? So you're just like,
Hmm.
and it's like a 10-15 foot drop for whatever business you're doing to the water, right? I swear, I'm an adult. I have like an assault rifle slung around me, and I'm worried about monsters in this hole. Like every time I go there. I'm like, oh,
Oh.
I'm gonna make it so fast. And the worst part, there's like two rows, one on each side, and there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 like toilet seats on these, and there's no walls, no doors, you're all facing each other. It's the
What?
most awkward. It's just an open room with a bunch of toilet seats into a vast dark hole. Yeah.
Oh man. So you
You
can
want
watch your buddy get sucked down by the
to
monster.
yeah, you want to talk about getting to know some people. That's
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah.
You got to make eye contact.
Yeah. You're like, stop. Why are you making that face at me? Stop. Like,
Watch your next door neighbor turn red.
yeah.
Oh man.
Anyways, that's why I'm so grateful for Bucky's bathrooms.
Yep.
We
Bucky's
should.
is the shiznit.
They're not a sponsor yet.
Yeah. Yep. Just the bathroom part. That's the only part we need to be
Yeah.
sponsored by.
I don't care
Just
about
Bucky's
anything else.
bathrooms.
Yeah.
This episode was brought to you by Bucky's bathrooms.
Hey, I bet we could do it. I bet we could pull that off. We gotta hit them up.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Anyway,
Anyways, all right,
Kingdom.
back to the kingdom. Sorry, everybody.
Back to the kingdom.
That was a little gratuitous.
That part was for us.
Yeah, it was fun though, man. It was fun.
Oh yeah.
All right, Rev 21. This gives us some good descriptions we could tee off of. So it says, and I saw a renewed heaven. Oh, wait, let me pull this up. I am doing a disservice here.
And the app we're using is eSword, and we're reading. Well, you have the Scriptures 2009 and the Apostolic Polyglot pulled
Yep.
up.
Yep. You can go through a lot more different comparative things too, which is nice. All these different versions and all that, but these are my main ones for now. All right. It says, and I saw a renewed heaven and a renewed earth, for the former heaven and former earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I, Yochanan or John, saw the set apart city, the renewed Jerusalem, coming down out of the heavens from Elohim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the heavens saying, see, the booth of Elohim is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor mourning, nor crying, and there shall be no more pain, for the former matters have passed away. And he who was sitting on the throne said, see, I make all matters new. And he said to me, write, for these words are true and trustworthy. And he said to me, it is done. I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts I shall give of the fountain of water of life without payment. The one who overcomes shall inherit all this, and I shall be his Elohim, and he shall be my son. But as for the cowardly, and the untrustworthy, and the abominable, and murderers, and those who whore, and the drug sorcerers, and idolaters, and all the false, their part is in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. Yikes. And one of the 7 messengers who held the 7 bowls filled with the 7 last plagues came to me and spoke with me, saying, come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. Okay, everybody in mainstream church, get ready. We're talking about you, I guess, right? Coming up, we're going to be talking about the bride. Is that all the people? And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the set apart Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Elohim. That's the bride. Isaiah references us as being like the precious jewels that adorn the bride. That's how much Yah cherishes his people. Is as beautiful as this city will be, he sees that we make it even more beautiful to him. Like, that's amazing.
Right.
You know?
That is. Yeah. But okay, so how do the mainstream churches get that part so wrong? Because very clearly, in one of the
Bro.
7 messengers who held the 7 bowls, saying, "Come, I shall show you the bride of the Lamb's wife. And then shows him Jerusalem,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
great
yeah.
city.
Oh, yeah. I get it. I've been told that all of, all my life growing up in church, and I'm like, wait, I don't want to be a another man's wife.
Yeah,
Like this doesn't
yeah.
sound right to me. In fact, it's against Yah's ways. I mean, I understand the reference to a covenant. I understand that, you know. Um it doesn't.
But that specific term seems odd to describe that covenant.
Right, and it's similar though. Like, it's like we see like through the prophets mentioning like the adultery of his people, but that's like spiritual adultery. That's going whoring after the false gods of other nations. Um, I see this really as him just making sense of how he feels based on what we experience here on Earth. Like in our
Hmm.
you know marriages and stuff like that. Even look at like the parable of the five wise and five foolish virgins, right? Like they're they're all like wedding guests. They're not all getting married. You know what I mean? I mean all
No.
these
Yeah.
all of these parables, there's just everybody's a guest to the wedding supper of the Lamb. Um
Yeah.
because yeah. Anyways, it was one of those things that I guess has just been an annoyance to me. But
Yeah.
all right. So
And
he's
like heaven or the kingdom descending from the heavens has never been, in my experience, described that way in church. It's always been like, oh, you die and then you go to heaven, not the kingdom coming down to us from the heavens.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the big thing, like the how should I word this? I have to be careful because there's literally task force like looking for these things.
Well, that was a good description of what you're talking about then.
I think a lot of people still won't even know. The earthly land that was reestablished in 1948 is not the promise. This is not the promise regathering. That's like one of the most secular states. It's like, the abominations that come out of that place is just heart wrenching. And not to mention, like
Yeah.
everybody like forgets, even like Paul. This is what, like most churches' favorite dude. He says, like, yo, they were cut off, like the natural branches were cut off because of disbelief. They didn't believe in the Messiah. And yet they're still like, hey, we have to bow down to these people because they're chosen. Not no more, they ain't, you know?
No.
Like,
No, and I can't stand the way like the mainstream church like views these people as if they're some like mystic, like old wise sage or something like that that doesn't necessarily believe the same thing we do, but we gotta like derive all of our wisdom from them or something.
yeah. And that's the thing, like, dude, we're not boasting against the natural branches. Like, we wish they would come and be grafted back in. That's the prayer.
Yeah.
Like, come to belief and faith in the Messiah that he, he already came and he's coming again real soon. And that'd be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But as it stands, if you don't believe in him, scripture says you don't take part in this covenant, like,
Right.
anyways,
Yeah.
it's rough. It's really rough. None of the promises of the regathering, right, have taken place. There is promise to be guarded from all war and all these things, and I've seen nothing but war, Um
Right.
anyways, I don't want to get too far down that road, but I think everybody's picking up on what we're putting down. Um
Yeah. Especially with current times.
yeah. Yeah. The idea here is like the New Jerusalem, it's a hill graven without hands. And we're gonna hit a couple scriptures to drive that home. But so the Lamb's bride, New Jerusalem, right, is described like this: having the esteem of Elohim And her light, so this is the light of New Jerusalem, was like a most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and having a great and high wall, having 12 gates, and at the gates 12 messengers, and names written on them, which are those of the 12 tribes of the children of Yasharel. That's it. There's 12 gates with the 12 tribes, no Gentile gate. It
Hold on.
says,
So let's say, hold on, hold on.
yeah,
So let's say you and I are out in the nations doing some like disaster relief, and we're a
yeah,
part of different tribes, right?
yeah.
And like you're on the north side, and I'm on the south side, but we end up on the north side. I'll be like, oh crap, dude. I'll see you. I'll see you in a minute. I got to go around.
I gotta go around.
Like,
I gotta go travel 2,800 miles to go. I'm
or can I
sure.
go through that same gate?
I don't know. Like for me, if I was in charge, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, like you do have a gate. Just you can use mine. You know, like that's fine.
I'll see you. I'll see you in like 12 days.
Yeah.
let me go around real quick.
Let me load up with provisions.
Oh
No,
man.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
but, but this is something that is like a big descriptor, right? There's no Gentile gate. To say you're a Gentile means you're of the nations and not part of Abraham's seed. The whole thing being, since you are part of Abraham's seed, like you have to do the deeds of Abraham. It's the same thing he rebuked the Pharisees for. Like Abraham, because of his faith, he was provoked to the good works of the Father, you know, and he kept the
Yeah.
instructions. Anyways, it's an identity crisis. If you identify who you are, then you can do what applies to you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And Yahusha did that perfectly.
Yeah. Oh my
What we're
gosh.
all supposed to be striving to do.
He's He's so wonderful.
Yep.
Real quick. So in verse 11, it gives a description of the kingdom, right? Like it says, the kingdom's light was like the most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. So something clear as crystal is translucent, I guess it could be the right word. Um, Jasper stones come in all these variety of colors. And if you look at the northern lights, quote unquote, northern lights, right? They're spreading across this, flat plane of the earth. I do think the kingdom's an approach. I don't know how long it's going to take, right? But this is the light of the kingdom. This isn't a magnetic field in whatever science wants to explain away. Like this is the kingdom's light. Um, it perfectly matches the description.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
mean
there's
the
that.
center lights? Is that what you mean? The center lights?
The center lights, yeah. It took me a second to pick up on that. I was like, well, center lights? What is that? Yeah, go. All right, so 13 goes on to say 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 emissaries of the Lamb, the 12 apostles. And he who spoke with me had a golden measuring rod to measure the city and its gates and its walls. And the city lies four cornered or four squared, and its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with a rod, 12,000 stadia. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. Yeah, so just under 1,400 miles. I guess that's, if this is correct math, I don't know. I didn't math this out, but yeah, it's pretty big.
Big
And he measured its wall,
is the point.
144
Super big.
forearms, according to the measure of a man, that is, of a messenger. Okay, so 216 feet. That's pretty cool. And the structure of its wall was jasper, and the city was clean gold, like clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones. The first foundation, jasper, the second, sapphire, the third, agate, the fourth, emerald, The fifth, sardonyx. The sixth, ruby. The seventh, chrysolite. The eighth, beryl. The ninth, topaz. The 10th, chrysoprase. Oh, that's a tough one.
Sure.
Chrysoprase.
Sounds
The
like
ele-
a sounds like a prescription drug.
Yeah.
Christ
Try
surprise.
Chrysopraz for those migraines you just can't get to go away. You know? Side effects include, yeah, not being able to drive, losing your sight, death.
Suicidal thoughts. All that. No more headaches though.
Yeah, don't worry. We took care of that hangnail. You're good to go. Let's not forget. Okay, oops. What we covered earlier. Um, the drug sorcerers can't come in.
Yep.
In verse 8.
Yep.
So just hammering that home again. All
Uh-huh.
right. The 11th was jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. The 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl, and the street of the city was clean gold like transparent glass. Real quick, all of these stones mentioned in the for the foundations, they are I believe the word is isotropic. Is that does that sound right? Um
Let me double check. I'll search that real quick.
Thank you. Um but basically what that means is like when pure light is shined into them, they give a wide array of different colors and beautiful designs. Like they are just gorgeous. They come to life. Whereas when you shine pure light through like a diamond, it's just like gray and black. Like bleh, you know. They should put that on one of the
Anis
like, freaking
anisop
Diamonds Are Forever
anisotropic, I think, is
commercials.
the ones.
Shine some pure light through that. Your diamond sucks. Yeah.
Sorry, I think mine's trying to reconnect right now. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, it totally cut out on me. What'd you say? Oh, well, until he gets that definition up, because it cut out on my end, everybody. I'm going to keep reading. It says, and I saw no dwelling place in it, for Yahweh, El Shaddai, is its dwelling place and the Lamb. And everybody says that this is like, there's no temple in New Jerusalem, but that's not the case. I'll show you right now. So where they put temple, this is a poor translation. The Greek word here is naos. So naos is like the shrine room of the temple, which we know would be the Holy of Holies. There's no Holy of Holies because the Father and the Son are present there. Yeah, pretty cool. There totally is a temple. Otherwise, all the stuff in Revelation where they talk about the altar and the altar of incense and all that, none of that would be there if there was not a temple.
Right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. A little choppy, but I can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but the listeners won't even know. Now, I mean, other than the fact that I just mentioned it, but
Oh, they're gonna know
yeah.
because I was like, "No, where did he go? Oh my gosh, it's the end of the episode." Yeah, I was freaking out. I was freaking out,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, that works. That works. Oh man, yeah, I don't know what it is. It just like randomly kicked me off. I have like full Wi-Fi service, all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. But it was the antistropic, the light iso. I can't remember the word. Isotropic is
Yeah.
that is is that the that's the one that explains the diamond. The
Oh.
anistropic or whatever is the other one, is the good one.
Okay. All right. Well, my bad,
Yeah.
everybody. So these are the ones that like pure light just makes them pop. You know, these beautiful colors and designs. It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a ton of Google images and videos on this. I highly encourage everybody to look up these stones mentioned in Revelation 21 because it's just beautiful. You don't need to put any posters up in your habitations that the Messiah is preparing for you. It's already going to be beautiful.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be hard to sleep.
Yeah, like it's so bright in here. It's like, oh yeah, I just remembered I don't have to sleep anymore. This is great.
Just doing this out of habit.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Well, yeah. So, anyways, on 22, yeah, no dwelling place or no temple is how it's mentioned. Incorrect translation. Greek word naos means shrine room. That would be interpreted as the Holy of Holies. Um, because the presence of the Father and the Lamb is within the temple, they themselves. All right, it says, and the city had no need of the sun nor of the moon to shine in it, for the esteem of Elohim lightened it, and the Lamb is its lamp.
That's wild.
There's still a sun and the moon, everybody, but in the kingdom, they don't need it for light because it's so beautifully bright in there from the glory of Yah. Um,
Yeah.
But Jeremiah 31 tells us that those ordinances of the sun and the moon and stars, they'll never go away. Otherwise, Yasharel will cease from existing. So, all right, it says, and the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light, and the kings of the earth shall bring their esteem into it. And its gates shall not be shut at all by day, for night shall not be there. And they shall bring the esteem and the appreciation of the nations into it. And there shall by no means enter into it whatever is unclean, neither anyone doing abomination and falsehood, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Um, Also, you got to be circumcised of heart and flesh to enter into the kingdom. Um, yeah, it's
Man.
a it's a thing. It's a thing, everybody. A
Dude,
sign of the covenant.
not one of these things has been talked about in any mainstream church I've been to. This whole
Yeah.
chapter, Revelation 21, not one of them has been mentioned. Not one of these aspects has been mentioned.
Well, that's the thing. It's so weird. It like you know, when everybody talks about the gospel and they're like, yeah, yeah, Christ came, he died, he resurrected and ascended, and he did that for you, and you'd be saved if you believe in him, which is partially true, right? It's a huge part still, but it's not the full gospel. The gospel is what the Messiah came preaching to everybody, and that was the kingdom. You know, basically, the kingdom of heaven is coming. This is what you got to do to get into it. And then
Yeah.
he he gave us an example by his walk, and we are to disciple after him and imitate the one we disciple after. So it just all makes so much more sense when you allow scripture to interpret scripture instead of these different denominations. And these denominations, let's be honest, they harp on one thing or another, and none of them agree on anything you know
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Man, like
It,
it makes you sad.
yeah,
Like this many people are just this far off. It's wild.
it is really sad because the kingdom is coming and it has a tangibility to it. Like there's like the Garden of Eden is inside of the kingdom. It was
You're right.
removed from the earth and it's just chilling in there now. It's coming back down. Like there's plants, there's animals. Like if you look at all the descriptions, like there will be vineyards, there will be flocks. We'll have purpose, we'll have duties or jobs, but we'll fully love them. Like there won't be any
Yeah.
turmoil or strife. Like it's just going to be literally wonderful times. And we're not going to be just floating like, oh boy, we got an eternity to just be in this cloud. No, like we get to interact with the Father and the Son and each other and worship and fellowship and share and help the nations outside.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're probably going to need quite a bit of help.
yeah, dude.
Disaster relief.
Disaster relief. Yeah.
I wonder how quickly we could build a house in glorified bodies.
Bro, that is a good question. We're like and we're like enlisting the help of these awesome animals from the kingdom. Like
Yeah.
we're like roofing. You're like, I'm out of nails, and this giraffe is just like, "Ugh," just brings this bucket of nails up. I'm like, yeah, giraffe, you know.
This elephant lifts this truss for us.
Yeah. Oh man, so cool.
Yeah, that would be wild. Man.
I mean, it's all speculation on animals being involved in construction, but I like to think that they're able to, you know.
It's possible. It's possible.
I
It's an
personally
option.
think I think the animals are going to talk in the kingdom. Personally.
Man, all I know is that if my dog makes it to the kingdom, she ain't gonna shut up, dude. She's always like, yeah, she's the type of dog that would just constantly be talking, constantly.
Yeah.
Which, if I was a dog and nobody understood me for the majority of my life or my whole life, then I'd be talking too.
Dude, I I can't wait. Like my dog, I think he's got some stuff to get off his chest, you know? Like
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. Your dog
he's
especially has some stuff to get
he,
off his chest. He's like, remember all
he's
those times you left me?
I know, like, oh, you left for like a week here and a week there, and I didn't know what was going on. He's being cared for by family, everybody. He's not like alone, but he's so sensitive.
Yeah,
He's such a good boy, but he's just so sensitive.
yeah. He is a sensitive dog. It cracks me up. He's awesome. He is an awesome dog, but yeah, he is sensitive.
It's
Man,
pretty
what do you want to
funny.
get into next?
Well, here's a little fun thingy that I'm gonna read. I'm not gonna pull this up because it's gonna be hard to pull this up on the screen, but
Yeah.
in oh gosh, where did it go? Give me 1 second.
No, you're good.
1 second.
You're good. Man, I'm just thinking about like having elephants help us construct things.
Oh, it'd be so much fun.
It'd be so cool. It'd be so cool.
I
I don't know if you've ever ridden an elephant, but it's like doing the splits whenever you're up on its back. Those things are
oh
so
really?
doggone wide. Oh yeah, especially the African elephants. Man,
Oh,
they're so wide. It's wild.
that's that's so cool. I never have, and that would be fun. I might side saddle
Yeah.
that bad boy, but instead of doing the splits. But
What with your dress? Is that what you're gonna
yeah, hey,
do?
yeah, man. I don't know what these robes look like, man. Modesty, everybody, modesty. Okay, so I'll be honest.
What's going on?
This has changed in this app I'm using.
Oh, damn. I hate those freaking updates, dude. Every time they update my phone or an app or like the computer, it's always worse. It's like not one improvement in quotes they make on these things or updates is like actually any better as far as like the ergonomics or the user friendliness and stuff like that. Like my phone did an update on the freaking photo app. Why
Yeah.
can I not navigate my photos normally anymore? It's so annoying.
Yeah, I did find it though, finally.
Oh, okay,
But
cool.
but I agree with you. Yeah, and sometimes like you know how like the phones real quick on the photos, like they'll do the
Hmm.
random montage like this like last year in review.
Yeah.
It shows me like all the saddest pictures. And I'm like, "Oh no." Like I'm like, "Oh, it's such a weepy day." Uh
Oh
my
man.
my phone's a jerk. But
Yeah.
all right, so Jubilees chapter 3. Jubilees chapter 3 verse 28 says, "And on that day on which Adam went forth from the garden, he offered as a sweet savor an offer of frankincense, galbanum, stacte, and spices in the morning with the rising of the sun from the day when he covered his shame." So first of all, he's doing some priesthood stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing some priesthood stuff. Pretty cool. And it goes on to say, "On that day was closed the mouth of all beasts, and of cattle, and of birds, and of whatsoever walks and whatsoever moves, so that they could no longer speak, for they had all spoken one with another with one lip and with one tongue." So if we're returning to the garden, right, and as a matter of speech, because the garden's going to be in New Jerusalem, Personally, I'm of the belief that the animals are going to be able to talk again. Like this tongue will be restored to everything living in there.
That'd be pretty
That'll be
cool.
super awesome. Might be a little weird when you're like processing going to kill an animal to eat it, but um,
Yeah. Yeah, I
mm,
imagine. Ooh, man, at least in this state right now, that would be a little bit more difficult, especially when it comes to like lambs. It's like, hey,
yeah,
buddy, I know you've been alive for 8 months, but we're hungry.
yeah. But in the kingdom, they'd be like, "It's okay. This is why I was made." You know.
You know what? If that's what voice they have, it's gonna be a little bit easier.
it's it's okay.
If they sound like a cartoon character, it's gonna be a little bit easier. Oh man.
Don't worry, I'm delicious.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
All right. So that was a little fun tangent, but let's take a look at this. Like,
Yeah.
this kingdom, right, is not one made with human hands. Everybody who's looking at the third temple or whatever, for whatever regard, like, stop. Just who cares whether it gets built or not? It doesn't matter. It's not what we're looking for. And
Right.
everybody who says, like, oh, the Antichrist is going to go in and be like, hey, everybody, I'm God. No, he's not. Like, there's no deception in that. That's what everybody's looking for.
Yeah.
We're told that we are the dwelling place of Elohim. That means that he's going to enter the hearts of men. So who cares what happens in a building that someone builds? Anyways, all right. So Second Baruch chapter 4. This is a description of the city. It says, "And Yahweh said unto me, This city shall be delivered up for a time, and the people shall be chastened during a time, and the world will not be given over to oblivion. Do you think that this is the city which I said, On the palms of my hands have I graven you? This building now built in your midst is not that which is revealed with me. That which was prepared beforehand here from the time when I took counsel to make paradise. And I showed it to Adam before he sinned. But when he transgressed the commandment, it was removed from him, as also paradise. After these things, I showed it to my servant Abraham by night among the portions of the victims." That's Genesis 15, I think. And it says, "And again also I showed it to Moshe on Mount Sinai when I showed to him the likeness of the tabernacle and all its vessels. And now behold, it is preserved with me, as also paradise." So it says, "Go therefore and do as I command you," which is what we should all be doing. Just do what he commands us so we can, you know, be reunited with him, like physically.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point being, even when Jerusalem was being ransacked at the time of Baruch, Baruch was what, the scribe for the prophet Jeremiah, and I believe he was also a priest himself and prophet. Um, but Yah is telling them, like, yo, this city, this isn't what's revealed with me. This is for you guys now, but what's coming down with me is wonderful. Like, I made this, not human hands.
Man,
Another
this is
thing,
insane.
so when Abraham was showed it among the portions of the victims, if you look at the Apocalypse of Abraham, it gives a good description of what he saw. Super cool, little fun side trail for people out there.
What does that mean though? Among the portions of the victims.
So he was told to like get these different animals, and he divided them. He literally divided them.
Oh,
And then he fell into like a trance and was shown a vision during this time. Um, yeah, let me
okay.
find it real quick. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Genesis 15.
Like he was literally among the portions of the victims, like as he was
Yeah,
dividing the animals. Okay, I gotcha. I didn't
yeah,
know if it was like
yeah,
some term or something like that, but yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. He divided them all. And then he gets like caught in a trance. It says a trance or a deep sleep. Some The Masoretic says great darkness fell upon him, right?
Oh dang.
Yeah, the the Septuagint says, and about sunset, a trance fell upon Abram, and lo, a great gloomy terror falls upon him. Um, he's shown a lot of intense stuff, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, he was showed also the kingdom, and it is described in Apocalypse of Abraham. I recommend it. Read it, test it. Deuteronomy 13:18 test, congruency of scripture and what it teaches. I think it passes, but there's still some hard things in there to reckon with. But anyways,
Oh man, maybe that should be a standalone episode, going over the Apocalypse of Abraham.
yeah, I think that'd be fun. We could pick some pretty cool chapters out of it and kind of display it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, so in the book of Daniel chapter 2, verse 44 and 45. And I'm not trying to cherry pick, it's just that we get like descriptions in these verses in the context of what we're searching for. Yeah, so 44, it says, and in those days kings of Elohim of heaven shall set up a kingdom. Why does it say it like that?
I see that too. Ella.
Yeah.
It's
Anyways,
only in the Septuagint that is showing that.
yeah, shall set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and his kingdom shall not be left to another people, but it shall beat to pieces and grind to powder all other kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Whereas you saw that a stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it beat to pieces the earthenware, the iron, the brass, the silver, the gold. The great Elohim has made known to the king what must happen hereafter, and the dream is true, and the interpretation thereof is true. Really what I wanted to get to is right here. Whereas you saw the stone that was cut out of the mountain without hands. This is another
Yeah.
thing, like this stone cut out of the mountain without hands. It's talking about New Jerusalem, hill graven without hands. It's mentioned in a few different places, but yeah,
It's pretty cool.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
And if you're curious about whether or not that is a true description, at the end of 45 it says, "And the dream is true, and its interpretation is trustworthy."
Yeah, it's like, don't
Just in
doubt.
case you
This
were
is
wondering.
for sure gonna happen. um, yeah,
Man, where do you want to go next?
kind of feeling a little for Ezra. So it's also known as Second
Okay.
Esdras. Yeah, I believe it's in the 1611 KJV, 1599 Geneva. I believe is in the Septuagint. Maybe not published in all of the translations of it, but our master Yahusha, the Messiah, quoted directly out of this book, and nowhere else do you get certain quotations of this. It's amazing. I love this book. It's one of my favorites. This will be another one that I'm not going to pop up on screen, but this is in
Yeah, I
chapter.
just noticed something on eSword. So it has the option. So if you're in the Septuagint book, it has the option for Second Esdras, but when you click on it, there's nothing there.
Yeah,
That is odd. I
yeah,
wonder
that
what's
one's
going
kind
on
of.
with that.
I don't know. Oh, it's the Brenton. It's not published in the hard copy of the Brenton that I have either. So
Oh,
yeah, but look, this book, test it if you haven't read it already, but I highly recommend it. It's literally proven true even for prophecies about our time now and the signs that we're seeing. It's amazing. All
wow.
right. So for Ezra chapter 13 says, and it came to pass after 7 days that I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that a man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And he turned his countenance to look, and all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fails when it feels the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graved, but I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet dared to fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire and flaming breath and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid, and afterwards saw I that man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came many people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, You have shown your servant these wonders from the beginning, and have counted me worthy that you should receive my prayer. Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. So I'm going to skip ahead a few verses, okay, when we get this interpretation. Verse 25, it says, This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas you saw a man coming up from the midst of the sea, this is the same as he whom El Elyon has kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. And whereas you saw that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him, this is the interpretation. Behold, the days come that El Elyon will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. And for anybody who's not sure, El Elyon means the Most High.
I have not heard
Uh,
that name before.
yeah, there's so many, so many different names or
Yeah.
titles rather. It says, And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be, when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed you before, and then shall my Son be declared, whom you saw as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as you saw them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and built like as you saw the hill graven without hands. And this my Son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto the flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the Torah, which is like unto me. All right, I'll leave it there.
Huh.
It's just when he comes, it's depicting that he comes and this kingdom is with him, right? All the nations are at each other's throats, even the realms, right? So if you want to get into potentially,
Dimensions?
yeah, spiritual warfare type stuff,
Yeah.
but we see that all around us, right? And I think it'll get worse, but here's the point: is they all left the warfare they had one against another. They joined together in unison to go fight against the kingdom.
Yeah.
So this leads us back to what we spoke about, like that fake alien invasion that they're setting up for.
Mm-hmm.
And this clearly says that when Yahusha comes back, Zion or New Jerusalem comes with him, like it is shown to all men. Um,
That's
so
wild. This is
pretty
definitely
exciting
one I need to
stuff,
read.
you know. I mean, this is like I I don't even know how I ever pictured it before. I was always taught about the rapture growing up, and it's like, yeah, you're just gonna get zipped into the clouds. You're not gonna see any of this bad stuff, so don't worry about it,
Yep.
and you're good to go.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, now that I actually read scripture for myself, and man is no longer my teacher, right? But the Ruach instructs me when I'm reading, and any fault I have is my fault. It's obviously not the Ruach's. I'm still
Right.
a dude, but nevertheless, like it's so clear. What?
No transition. You ain't transitioning into nothing. You know you can identify as a trans-testicle polar bear, right?
No, I do not. I identify as dude, man, bro, or or you can say howdy, mister. Like whatever you want. Yeah.
That's a wild book though. That's definitely one I'm gonna have to read.
Bro, I I kid you not, for like a whole year I listened to it on audio every day at work over and over. I don't know what it was. I couldn't get enough of it.
Huh.
Um yeah,
Wow.
it's beautiful.
I'm picturing that whole battle scene right in like in my mind's eye
Yeah,
of
it's
like, man.
it's going to be wild. Like think about it too. Everybody's like, yeah, it's going to be so crazy like the wars, and there are going to be a lot of people that die in the wars and all that.
Right.
But there's still going to be enough left for an innumerable multitude to come together to fight them. Like,
Yeah.
so how far do we get down that road before he returns? I'm not sure. I do personally believe we're going to see more war, and it's going to affect likely all of us to some degree. But,
Yeah. Either
um,
directly or indirectly via like transportation routes and stuff like that, or
yeah.
um, just like goods and whatnot. Um, man,
Yeah. Seriously, like look at the trade wars going on right now with all the tariffs and everything. Like everybody better buckle up. That never leads to anything good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Look at the price of eggs, and those are largely sourced from the United States. That doesn't require
yeah.
transportation. Now, their feed sometimes is and sometimes isn't, but man, and yeah, most of our stuff comes from overseas. This is wild.
Yeah.
You might want to
It
get your poop in a group.
yeah. Yeah. Get it in a group so you can keep it out of your pants. Like
Yeah,
you
don't poop into your
gotta
pants.
yeah.
Yeah, don't poop into
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. You gotta just get ready. Here we go. Okay, we gotta stop now before we get back
Yep.
into it.
Yeah.
People are not gonna take us serious if we keep going down that path.
All I'm thinking is like this is a line of merch we could open up. Like something to do with Bucky's bathrooms.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna be such a great sponsor, and we'll
Hmm.
just donate whatever they do. I don't even need anything from them. Like their
No, just
bathrooms are
keep
already
doing.
free.
Except maybe build a Bucky's closer to me, so that way,
Yeah.
dude,
Yep.
their advertising is wild. It'll say you can hold it 172 miles till your next Bucky's. Like what?
Yeah.
If I
There
pass that
ain't.
sign and I have to go, then I ain't holding it, but I'll try because Bucky's is the shiznit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I ain't making it.
There ain't no way I'm making it, but my heart's desire is to make it.
Yep. Good
You
job,
know.
Bucky's.
Good.
Good job,
Good on you.
man. You want to get into anything else?
Yeah, well, look, there is literally scattered throughout all the prophets, and it's always about the kingdom. This
Yeah.
is the good news of the kingdom, and our Messiah's like death, resurrection, and ascension is how he became our high priest, the one that mediates between us and the Father, and grants us entrance. He has the power of the resurrection, right? He's been granted this. So I don't know. Anybody who's not currently doing this, start readdressing and rereading the prophets. All of them. Start rereading the prophets with the lens that it's always pointing towards the kingdom.
Yeah.
It will talk about their current times, and then it'll jump to like the great hope that is there for everybody in covenant. Um, yeah.
You want to read Psalm 48 real quick? You cool with
Psalm
that?
48. Dude, I'm always cool with that. All right. Oops. There we go. All right. Psalm 48. I'm going to read it out of the Septuagint. It says,
Cool.
a psalm of praise for the sons of Kor on the second day of the week. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised in the city of our Elohim, in his holy mountain. The city of the great king is well planted on the mountains of Zion, and the joy of the whole earth on the sides of the north. Elohim is known in her palaces when he undertakes to help her. For behold, the kings of the earth were assembled, they came together, they saw, and so they wondered, and they were troubled, and they were moved. Trembling took hold on them. There were the pains as of a woman in travail. You will break the ships of Tarshish with a vehement wind. As we have heard, so have we also seen in the city of Yahweh Sebaot, in the city of our Elohim. Elohim has founded it forever. We have thought of your mercy, O Elohim, in the midst of your people. According to your name, O Elohim, so is also the praise to the ends of the earth. Your right hand is full of righteousness. Let Mount Zion rejoice. Let the daughters of Yehuda exult because of your judgments, O Yahweh. Go round about Zion and encompass her. Tell you her towers. Mark you well her strength and observe her palaces, that you may tell the next generation. For this is our Elohim forever and ever. He will be our guide forevermore. And
What
praise,
is up
yeah.
with the pause at the end of 8, verse 8, where it says pause?
They
Like, are
probably
we
got a
supposed to
little.
contemplate that for a second?
Yeah, it's usually like, because these are all like, sung praises, and they have
Like
some music to
songs?
them. So they like,
Okay.
pause, and they got a little rhythm section maybe, or, yeah.
Okay.
I
I
bet, I
didn't
bet
know if it
Dan.
was like, because, well, it didn't give that precursor at the beginning of the text. It's like where it's tuned to the such and such or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
I would love to hear the song versions of these.
Yeah. What's that group's name? You can find them on Spotify. I think it's Left and Right Ministries. They do a lot of the Psalms, and they do a really good job. Beautiful voices.
Huh.
Uh,
I'm writing that down. I think you played it that one day, didn't you?
probably, probably. It's just really enjoyable. I think
When
Yah's
we're
really blessed them.
building that greenhouse.
Yeah, yeah, I did. Oh, and when we were chopping wood all day.
Right. Yeah.
Man, that was a great day. Just chopping wood.
That was that. Yeah, that was one of the more satisfying days of the disaster relief. That's for sure. I felt more satisfied there on that one day than that almost full week the first time we went out.
Oh my gosh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, it's just good. Oh,
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap it up there, and I just,
Yeah.
again, encourage everybody to put on the lenses of the kingdom. Anytime you read scripture, it may not always directly talk about it, but it will lead to it if it's not directly talking about the kingdom. Isaiah gives such great descriptions of the inner workings in the kingdom and the things that those who are allowed in, who are glorified, will be doing, among many others. But I did want to mention this. So okay, look, on this, I guess on YouTube specifically, Um, we don't get many comments, right? Please comment. I want to know what everybody's
Yeah.
thinking. And the like we got a comment, somebody who was like definitely disagreed with us. They were nice. They didn't say anything bad, but they're like, we're not under the Torah. We don't follow that. Okay, I hear what you're saying, and I just lovingly encourage you to email us at exiledstrangers@proton.me, and please come on. Let's do a show and let's just talk about it. You can be
Yeah.
completely anonymous. Nobody needs to know your name. You won't be made fun of. You won't be trash talked. We love you, and we just like a chance to show you what we see.
You don't even
Um,
have to tell us your name. Like you don't like us in the email correspondence and stuff like that. You can keep your
yeah,
identity completely hidden from us as well. It's not like we need to know your background or your name or anything like that. But yeah, we would love to have a discussion with you, and it would be super helpful. So if that is something you believe, then having this discussion you would view being beneficial to other people, just
yeah,
as the same way we do. Like having this discussion should shed light on what and find the actual truth of the matter. And yeah, let come on, let's talk about it. And it won't be like
yeah,
the some heated debate or anything like that. I mean, unless you bring it to there. But like from us, it won't be pushed that way from us. It'll just be literally a loving discussion in search of the truth.
yeah, yeah. And I just, it's like every time I see any counter arguments, it's typically one verse from here, one verse from there, completely ignoring the whole of context around that verse.
Right.
Um, and if we can get the chance to talk through it, read a little deeper into those scriptures, I think it'd be really fun.
And like on
Again,
that video, like based on that video that was commented on, like I even told you at the beginning, like I tried to disprove this at first. I was in your position at first of saying
yeah,
like, "Oh no, the law doesn't apply to us. Let me try to go ahead and prove that right." And then I couldn't.
yep, yep,
And then I kept
absolutely.
reading.
Yeah, yeah. I did the same thing. There's no way that I could have seen anything any different. It's like once you see it, you can't go back. You can't unsee it.
No. And like the only you hear those examples of people that go back to mainstream Christianity or even to being like completely denying everything. I
Yeah,
don't know that they were necessarily I wonder if there were people that were pressured into this walk as opposed to like searching it out themselves or like guilt tripped into this walk as opposed to searching it out themselves. Because
yeah,
honestly, I don't understand how you could be I don't understand how you could go back after this. Like
yeah.
everything seems to be pointing to being obedient.
It sure does. I mean, we're judged by every word and deed. Like,
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot going on there. The
Man.
bottom line is like everything the Messiah says. He's like, the kingdom's coming. This is what you got to do to get in. You know,
Yeah.
he's given us. It's an open book test.
Yeah.
You know,
Which does also some of the hardest tests were the open book tests.
yeah. Sometimes the good thing here is like we get it straight up, and our
Yeah.
battle is like the ruach of Yah that's within us versus our flesh. The stupid
Hmm.
flesh. It's such a pain in the butt sometimes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It really is.
Oh,
Yeah.
another thing, yo, I seen like the amount of views that are on there. You guys can give us a like. At least give us a like, even if you don't like us, so that we can start doing live streams, please. And then you can get on the live streams and be like, "Hey, I gave you a like. I don't like you, but let's talk about it." And
Yeah.
yeah,
You can
and it's
actually
all
okay,
good.
so a like and a dislike do the same exact thing. So if a video gets a lot of dislikes, it still has the same benefit and pushes the same because it's attention. YouTube views it as like attention. So no matter your opinion, you can do likes or dislikes, whatever you want to do, but
Oh
just do
wait,
one of them.
Yeah. That's totally fine. I'm cool with dislikes too. I mean, I didn't write the book, um,
Yeah, it
but
gets this. It pushes the same amount of attention to other subscribers. So, like, if there's a video that is getting a bunch of hate, YouTube is like, oh, people are watching this video. That means there's more ads that we can play for this. Um, People hate it or love it. They don't really care as long as it's getting attention. That's ads they can play. That's money that they make, especially right now before we're monetized, where we don't get any kind of cut from that.
yeah, and just another heads up, like when we do get monetized, we're recycling this money. We're not going to be profiting off the word.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
no worries there.
And
And
we
I
can
did
even
miss.
go ahead.
Go ahead. After you, good sir.
Thank you, good sir. We can, I think, set it up so we're like, even once we become like eligible, we can make it so where the live streams don't make money. We can turn the monetization off, but still have the benefits of all the like like we can do live streams, we can do stuff like that, or we could
Yeah,
say, I mean, we could set it up for donations. We can do really whatever. There's a bunch of different options at that point, but yeah, we
yeah.
will not be
Typically,
accepting the money off of the word.
yeah, and typically, like unless we're trying to actually fund something specific that we will, show proof of that we did. Um, and if anybody would want to tithe, that crazy word, anybody want to tithe or anything, I would say this: you ain't gonna do it to us. Go
Nope.
find someone who's hungry and feed them. Go find someone who
Yep.
needs clothes and give them clothes. That's your tithing, because our high priest is in the heavenly tabernacle. Um, and I did misspeak earlier.
Facts.
We need subscriptions to go live, not likes. So
Well, likes
subscribe.
lead to subscriptions.
Okay,
They lead
well,
to that.
just look, everybody get your fingers out and just smash all the buttons possible on these videos with us and just try to help us out. I want to get on live and combat some of these dang witches and these people that are on these lives. I go through YouTube live and there's people reading tarot cards and all this, and I'm like, I want to be on live so I can be like, hey, you go next door to this bozo and give him, this scripture, I don't know, dude.
Smash every button except for the report button. That won't help. That won't help us. So don't hit the report button, but you can hit thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, notify, all that stuff if you want to. Whatever you want to. Just help us out. But
Yeah, well,
man,
unless they're like, I would like to report these guys for being awesome.
I don't even think that's an option. They should though. YouTube should make that an option.
Yeah.
Like they should
Yeah,
get
well,
notified like, "Hey man, I really like what these people are doing. I'm going to report
yeah.
them for being awesome." And then YouTube should just, cuz it's half bots anyways, they should just instantly give you like 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah, like done day. They're just all bots.
Yep. And then we can go
Man.
live. Yeah, all that. But man, you got anything else, nobody?
Nah, I was just thinking about the animals talking in the kingdom. It's still on my
The
mind.
elephants lifting trusses.
I'd be like, come eat me. I'm delicious.
Man, I'm going to try to saddle up a cheetah.
I
I'm
was
going
made for
fast.
food. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I might cruise it. I might just cruise. Let me see. What animal would that be?
Okay, yeah, no,
Yeah,
this is good. If you could ride any animal, what would
yeah.
it be? And it's
Like
not
I've
going to eat
always,
you.
I've always said like a lion, but realistically, like I don't know. Like maybe if animals do talk, maybe a zebra would be like a silly zebra, like from the cartoons, like a super fun ride because he's just make
Yeah.
cracking great jokes. Uh, you know, I don't know, man.
I'm riding a moose.
Whoa, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Dang, that is pretty cool. That's unheard of.
Yeah, because it'll stomp you out right now.
Yeah, that is completely unheard of. Maybe what's a big enough bird that can pick me up? Just pick me up
None.
by the shoulders.
Pterodactyl.
Okay, I don't think there's gonna be pterodactyls, but dang it.
What's that? What's that one? Golden eagle. It's like the one that pulls the goats off the cliffs and then like eats it when it hits the bottom.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna hit one of them up.
Okay, I'm sure. I'm sure you could. have a discussion with them and try to figure that out. I feel like their
Yeah.
voices are going to be super high pitched.
Oh, this like crazy cool eagle, but it's yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or okay,
Oh,
moose or a Kodiak bear.
ooh.
Depends on what we're doing.
Like if I really just wanted to cruise it, I wish sloths were big enough to ride on.
Those giant sloths weren't there giant sloths?
I
Didn't they
don't
go
know.
extinct?
I don't know. Maybe, but see, I don't know if I really buy.
I don't know. I don't
I
know
don't.
if it's real or not. Oh,
It's
a
made me cool.
mammoth.
I
That's what I'm
mean,
riding.
just a big old hairy elephant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if it's
It,
cold outside. Feels like
yeah.
it seems like it's gonna be cozy.
You got leg warmers. His furs
Yeah.
just around your legs. It'd be easier to side saddle that thing and not do the splits. You just hold on to the hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, if you want to sign up to give your testimony or have a discussion on the podcast, email us at exiledstrangers@proton.me. That's exiledstrangers@proton.me.
Proton. Dot. M-E.
Man, we got two sponsors, Proton and Bucky's Bathrooms.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, we'll see you guys.